Ladies and gentlemen, every morning the universe gives you a simple gift, the chance to begin again. But most people waste it. They wake up and immediately surrender to their phones, to their worries, to their past. You see, the world doesn't shape you, you shape yourself, and it begins with the first words you say in silence to yourself. If you master your mornings, you master your reality. And what you whisper to your soul before the world gets a chance to speak, that becomes your direction, your energy, your life. So stay. What you're about to hear isn't just motivation, it's mental alchemy. These 12 truths will help you rewire your mornings and your mind. Watch closely, feel deeply, and let them become your daily ritual. I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness behind them. This may sound like a simple statement, yet it holds the key to a kind of freedom most people never even realize they're missing. Every morning your mind begins to speak before your body even opens its eyes. It whispers fears, regrets, judgments, comparisons, an endless stream of thoughts. And most people, without question, believe every single word of it. They never pause to ask, whose voice is this? Whose thoughts are these? Are they even true? They assume that if a thought arises, it must belong to them. It must be real. It must be followed. But that is the first illusion. You are not your thoughts. You are not the chatter in your head. You are the silent observer who notices the chatter. You are the one who watches the thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky of your consciousness. That space of awareness behind the thought, that's you. And the more time you spend identifying with that awareness instead of the thought itself, the freer you become. Let's take a moment to see this clearly. Have you ever sat quietly and observed your mind? Truly observed it? Not judged it, not reacted, just watched it, the way you might watch people pass by in a train station. You'll notice something extraordinary. The thoughts don't stop, they keep arriving, some helpful, many useless, and some downright cruel. But they aren't you, because if you can observe them, then clearly you must be something other than them. Think about that. The same way you can observe a bird flying by, you can observe the thought of self-doubt, the thought of failure, the thought of anxiety, which means the real you is not the thought, but the presence that sees it. This presence is still, unchanging, aware. And when you begin your day from this space, not the chaos of your thoughts, but the clarity of your awareness, something begins to shift. You stop reacting. You stop over-identifying. You stop getting dragged into every little storm that passes through your mind. Instead, you start choosing. You see a thought and say, oh, there it is, doubt, and then you let it go. You see a thought of comparison, and instead of believing it, you smile at it the same way you would at a passing stranger. No need to fight it, no need to fear it. It has no power unless you feed it. And the only way you feed a thought is by identifying with it. So in the morning, before the world enters your day, take a sacred pause. Close your eyes, breathe, and say to yourself, I am not my thoughts. Feel the distance that creates between you and the endless noise. Feel how it disarms the power of every anxious idea that may follow. You're not suppressing your mind. You're simply taking your rightful place above it. Your mind is a tool, a brilliant, powerful, creative tool, but it is not the master. You are. And the moment you remember that, truly remember it, you reclaim your power. The kind of power that cannot be taken away by the events of the day, the comments of others, or the fears your mind may throw at you. So don't try to fix every thought. Don't try to control them all. That's like trying to stop the wind from blowing. Just don't mistake yourself for the wind. You are the sky. This realization is subtle, yet it transforms everything. It changes how you respond to stress, how you speak to yourself, how you engage with life. Because once you see that you are the awareness behind the thoughts, you stop needing to control them. You just let them come and go. And you choose which ones deserve your attention. That is your power. That is your freedom. And it begins not tomorrow, not when your life is perfect, but now, right here in this breath, with this awareness. So tomorrow morning, when your eyes open and the thoughts begin, take a step back. Smile at the noise. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who hears them. And the one who hears is always free. Today I choose intention over impulse. This single choice, if made daily, has the power to reshape your entire life. Most people live on autopilot. They wake up and immediately respond to the world, to notifications, to demands, to fears. They act not from clarity, but from habit. And most habits aren't conscious. They're inherited, reactive, emotional, rooted in yesterday, not designed for today. But to live like that is to surrender your power. It is to be ruled by every passing mood, every external pressure, every inner voice that pulls you away from yourself. Impulse is easy. It is automatic, fast, and seductive. It feels urgent. It promises relief. It whispers, just do it. Just react. Just say it. Just eat it. Just give in. But every time you follow that voice without thinking, you reinforce the version of yourself you're trying to outgrow. The one who's scattered, impatient, uncentered. Attention is different. It's the pause, the breath before action, the space where wisdom can speak. Intention asks, why am I doing this? What do I really want from this moment? Is this aligned with the person I'm becoming? That question, that small gap between thought and reaction, is where freedom lives. Every morning, you stand at a crossroads. On one side, there's the pull of your past, the familiar grooves your mind has carved out, the unconscious routines you've rehearsed 1,000 times. On the other side is the unfamiliar path of presence, of choosing your words, your tone, your actions, your energy, with clarity. It's subtle, yet radical. Choosing intention over impulse means you don't check your phone first thing in the morning, not because you have to, but because you choose to give your attention to something deeper first. It means when someone irritates you, you don't automatically snap or shut down. You pause. You observe. You choose your response, one that serves your peace, not your pride. Choosing intention doesn't mean you never feel anger or sadness or temptation. It means you stop letting them drive the vehicle of your life. You learn to sit with them, listen, and still act from a centered place. The storms can come, but they don't steer your ship anymore. The beauty of intention is that it puts you in dialogue with your future self, the version of you who's already at peace, who's already focused, who's already disciplined, patient, grounded. And every time you act from intention, you cast a vote for that future self. Over time, those votes become your identity. Imagine the difference between starting your day with intention versus starting it with impulse. One leads to a calm morning, focused action, aligned decisions. The other leads to chaos, regret, and the feeling of being constantly behind, always reacting. Most people don't realize that the stress they feel isn't coming from the world. It's coming from the way they've allowed themselves to be pulled in every direction. When you live with intention, life doesn't get easier, but it becomes more meaningful. You stop doing things just because you've always done them. You stop seeking comfort in things that quietly destroy your clarity. You begin to shape your day with purpose. Your words become more thoughtful, your time more valuable, your mind more peaceful. And here's the secret. Intention grows stronger with practice. The more often you pause before acting, the more natural it becomes. The more you check in with yourself before speaking, the more powerful your words become. Eventually you stop feeling like life is happening to you because you realize it's happening through you. So say it aloud or in silence. Today, I choose intention over impulse. Let that be your anchor when the noise begins. When distractions call, when ego flares, when fear knocks, return to intention. You'll find it there, waiting in the silence behind your reaction, offering you a better way, because every moment you act with intention, you reclaim the authorship of your life. You stop being a character in someone else's script and begin to write your own. I am already enough, even as I grow. This truth carries a quiet power, one that many people spend their entire lives overlooking. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that we are always lacking, that we must achieve more, fix ourselves, improve endlessly before we are worthy of peace, love, or even our own acceptance. This belief is deeply woven into our modern mindset. You'll be enough when you earn that title, when you look a certain way, when you have the money, the respect, the control. But that day never really comes, because the moment you reach one goal, the mind creates another. It whispers, not yet, you still need to do more. So you run, you chase, you exhaust yourself in pursuit of a version of yourself. It's always just a little out of reach. This is the trap of conditional worth, and it keeps you in a cycle of striving without arriving. But what if the entire premise is false? What if your value has never depended on how polished you are? What if your worth isn't measured by how productive, beautiful, or successful you become? What if you are already enough, not because of what you've done, but because of what you are? You are already whole, you are already complete, not perfect. No, but enough. This doesn't mean you stop growing. It doesn't mean you give up on becoming wiser, stronger, or more aligned with your highest self. It means you no longer tie your sense of being to a future version of yourself. It means you no longer wait for external validation to grant you permission to feel peace within your own skin. True growth doesn't come from self-rejection. It comes from self-compassion. You evolve more when you work with yourself, not against yourself. You transform more when you approach the journey from a place of inner wholeness, not inner war. Think of a tree. A young sapling is no less valuable than a full-grown oak. It is not judged by how tall it is. Its worth is inherent, not because of its fruits, but because it is alive, growing, becoming. No one looks at it and says, "You're not enough yet." And yet we say that to ourselves every day. The voice in your mind that says you're not enough, that voice doesn't belong to your true self. It was given to you by a world that profits from your self-doubt. by systems that thrive on insecurity. That voice is not your truth. It's an echo of everything you've been told to believe in order to keep striving, proving, competing. But underneath all that noise is a deeper voice, quieter, wiser. It says, you are enough right now, as you are. You were enough before you earned anything, before you achieved anything, before anyone clapped for you or criticized you. You were enough when you were lost, when you were broken, when you were learning. And you're still enough even as you become more. When you understand this, a profound shift happens. You no longer use growth as a way to fix yourself. You use it to express yourself. You no longer seek success to feel worthy. You pursue it because you're already whole and want to experience life more fully. You no longer carry shame for being in process. You recognize that being in process is beautiful. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't rush to become someone else. Don't start the day from a place of deficiency. Start it with this reminder: I am already enough, even as I grow. Let those words soften the grip of self-judgment. Let them remind you that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're simply becoming. And becoming is not proof that you were nail enough. It's the unfolding of what you've always been. You don't have to earn your worth. You are your worth. And when you live from that space, that deep acceptance of your present self, you move differently. You no longer chase validation. You no longer need to impress. You no longer fear failure, because you're not growing to become enough. You're growing because you already are. Challenges are not obstacles meant to stop me. They are invitations to grow. This simple yet profound perspective can transform how you meet each day and every difficulty within it. The natural human reaction to challenges is to resist them, to see them as interruptions to the life you want to live. When hardship knocks, most people feel pushed off balance, frustrated, or even defeated. They wish for ease, for comfort, for the path to be smooth. But life, in its essence, is never smooth. The waves will always come. The winds will always howl. What if we stopped fighting the waves and instead learned to surf them? The truth is that challenges are an integral part of the journey, not detours from it. They are the soil from which strength, wisdom, and resilience grow. Without struggle, there can be no growth, no transformation. To see difficulties as enemies is to deny their essential role in shaping who you are becoming. Every challenge carries a message, a lesson disguised in hardship. When you face a difficult situation, your first impulse may be to avoid, to deny, to push away the discomfort. But if you instead pause and ask, what is this teaching me? You open the door to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world. You begin to realize that the challenge is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. Think of a seed buried in the dark soil. It is under pressure, confined, seemingly struggling to survive. Yet this struggle is precisely what forces it to push through the earth, to break open, to reach the light. Without the pressure, without the resistance, it would never sprout. Life works the same way. The pressure of challenges is the catalyst for your growth. It is the call to awaken the qualities within you that remain dormant when life is easy: courage, patience, creativity. When a challenge arises, you can choose to see it as a punishment or as a teacher. You can complain about it or embrace it. You can let it break you or build you. The choice is yours. And this choice is where your true power lies. Every time you step into the discomfort instead of turning away, you reclaim your strength. Every time you say yes to the struggle, you deepen your wisdom. Every time you acknowledge the difficulty, but refuse to be defined by it, you move closer to the person you are meant to be. This does not mean pretending pain or frustration doesn't exist. It means holding space for those feelings while also holding space for growth beyond them. It means understanding that pain is temporary, but the transformation that comes from facing it is permanent. When you view challenges as invitations rather than obstacles, you begin to move through life with a different energy. You stop fearing hardship and start respecting it as part of your evolution. You develop a resilience that cannot be shaken by circumstances because it comes from within, from your willingness to engage with life fully, not just the easy parts. And here is a secret. Often the greatest breakthroughs come immediately after the hardest moments. When you feel like giving up, when the weight feels too heavy, that is when you are closest to transformation. The struggle is not a sign you're failing. It's the sign you're on the edge of something new. When you wake tomorrow and face the inevitable challenges of the day, remember this: these moments are not here to break you. They are here to build you. They are the stepping stones to your becoming. They are the fire that tempers your strength. Welcome your challenges with open arms. Listen deeply to what they are teaching you. Trust the process, even when it feels uncertain or painful, and know that each step through difficulty is a step toward a stronger, wiser, more resilient you. Because life is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. The invitation is always there. Will you accept it? Peace begins within me, and from that inner stillness, the world around me transforms. This statement holds a profound truth that is often overlooked in the hustle of daily life. We spend so much energy trying to control external circumstances, trying to fix relationships, manage work pressures, chase success or escape discomfort, believing that peace is something we must find outside ourselves. Yet the moment you realize that peace is not a prize to be won or a place to be reached, but a state you carry inside, your entire experience changes. Most people chase peace like a destination on a map. They think, when I get that job, when that relationship improves, when that problem disappears, then I will be at peace. But peace is not a place or a future event. It is a presence that exists here and now, within you, waiting to be recognized. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the surface is calm, the lake reflects the sky perfectly, clear, serene, untroubled. But when the wind blows, ripples appear. The surface becomes choppy, the reflection distorted. This is how your mind often feels, disturbed by thoughts, worries, and fears. But the lake itself, deep beneath the surface, remains still and untouched. That stillness beneath the ripples is your true peace. It is always there, even if the surface looks turbulent. Your challenge is to return your attention to that stillness, to the calm beneath the noise. Peace within you is not about avoiding difficulties or pretending everything is fine. It is about cultivating a space inside where no disturbance can permanently unsettle you. It's a refuge you carry with you, not a fortress you build around yourself. When peace begins within, your reactions to life's ups and downs change. Instead of being swept away by every emotional tide, you develop a steadiness. You respond rather than react. You see situations clearly, rather than through the lens of fear or anger. This inner peace becomes a quiet strength. It allows you to hold space for others without losing yourself. It gives you the ability to face uncertainty with grace. It teaches you that not everything requires your energy or your control. There is a profound freedom in realizing that peace is not dependent on circumstances. This freedom is a gift you give yourself every morning when you remind yourself, peace begins within me. It sets the tone for the day. It invites you to walk through life with a gentle steadiness, rather than a frantic chase. When you nurture this inner stillness, you also begin to influence the world around you in subtle but powerful ways. Peace radiates outward. It softens tension, calms conflict, and invites harmony. Others feel it when they are near you, even if you never speak a word. This is the paradox of peace. It is both deeply personal and profoundly contagious. The more peace you cultivate within, the more you contribute to peace in your environment, your home, your workplace, your community. Cultivating this inner peace is not about perfection, it's about practice. It's about learning to return your focus inward whenever you feel scattered or overwhelmed. It's about choosing calm over chaos, presence over distraction. And it begins with the simple act of mindful breathing, a moment to pause and center yourself before you move through your day. It begins with the intention to observe your thoughts without getting lost in them. It begins with the commitment to treat yourself with kindness when the mind grows restless. Every time you say to yourself, peace begins within me, you are planting a seed. Over time, that seed grows into a deep-rooted calm that no external storm can uproot. As you greet tomorrow, hold this thought gently in your mind. Let it be a compass, guiding you back to the sanctuary inside your own being. Because when peace truly begins within you, you carry a quiet power that transforms not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. Remember, the world does not need more noise, it needs more stillness. And that stillness starts with you. The story I tell myself shapes the reality I live. Every moment of our lives, we are narrating an ongoing story. It is a story woven not just from facts, but from interpretations, memories, fears, hopes, and beliefs. This narrative is not some neutral background noise. It is the very lens through which we perceive our existence. The story we tell ourselves colors every experience, molds every emotion, and influences every decision. It is, in many ways, the architect of our reality. Consider how differently a single event can be perceived depending on the story you choose to tell yourself about it. A job loss could be a devastating failure or a door opening to new opportunities. A difficult relationship could be a source of endless pain or a powerful teacher guiding you towards self-awareness. The events themselves remain unchanged, but your interpretation, your internal story, transforms their meaning. This power to shape reality through narrative is both a blessing and a responsibility. The stories that empower you can elevate your life, help you rise above challenges and inspire growth. The stories that limit you can trap you in cycles of self-doubt, fear, and stagnation. Most people are unaware of how much their inner narrative controls them. They accept their stories as truths handed down from external circumstances, forgetting that they are the author. They react to their lives as if reading a script written by forces beyond their control, rather than recognizing their own hand in the pen. But once you become conscious of the story you are telling yourself, a new freedom emerges. You realize you can edit, rewrite, or even tear apart the narrative that no longer serves you. You can choose a story that honors your worth, your potential, and your capacity for change. This process is not about deluding yourself with false positivity. It is about acknowledging the facts while shifting the meaning you assign to them. It is about telling a story that empowers rather than diminishes. For example, instead of telling yourself, "I am not good enough," you might tell a story of growth. "I am learning and evolving every day." Instead of, "I failed and will never succeed," you might say, "This setback is a stepping stone toward my future success." The content of a story changes your feelings, your actions, and ultimately your reality. Our minds crave coherence, and the stories we tell provide that coherence. They give order to the chaos of life. But just as a story can give structure, it can also confine. A limiting story becomes a cage, restricting your ability to see alternatives, possibilities, or your own strength. Breaking free from limiting stories requires courage. It means questioning long-held beliefs about yourself and the world. It means sitting with discomfort and uncertainty as you explore new narratives. It means forgiving yourself for mistakes and embracing the fluidity of your identity. When you learn to shape your story consciously, you step into the role of the storyteller, the creator of your experience. You begin to see that you are not merely a character in life's drama, but the author, the director, the artist of your own existence. This shift in perspective brings immense power. You stop blaming circumstances or others for your feelings. You accept responsibility for your inner world. You realize that by changing your story, you change your life. And here is a profound secret. The stories you tell yourself ripple outward, influencing your relationships, your environment, and even how others see you. Your narrative shapes the energy you bring to the world and invites others to respond accordingly. So each morning, as you rise, remember that you hold the pen. The story you choose to tell today has the power to transform your reality. Will it be a story of limitation or liberation? Of fear or courage? Of despair or hope? The choice is always yours. Embrace it, rewrite your story with intention and love, and watch as your life unfolds in alignment with the narrative you dare to create. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Abundance flows. In the relentless pace of modern life, it's easy to overlook the profound power of gratitude. We often find ourselves caught in the habit of focusing on what's missing, what's wrong, what needs to be fixed. Our minds drift towards scarcity, lack, and longing. Yet beneath this surface of wanting and striving lies a deeper truth. The quality of our experience is shaped not by what we possess, but by how we perceive it. Gratitude is not merely a polite thank you or a momentary feeling when something good happens. It is a profound state of being, a lens through which we view the world that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It shifts us from a mindset of scarcity to one of sufficiency, from complaint to appreciation, from frustration to peace. When you cultivate gratitude, you acknowledge the richness already present in your life, no matter how small or overlooked it may seem. A warm cup of tea, the breath in your lungs, the sun on your face, a kind word from a stranger, these simple gifts become sources of joy and contentment. This shift is not about denying hardship or ignoring pain. It is about recognizing that even in difficulty, there is something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, a strength gained, a moment of clarity. Gratitude does not erase challenges, but it changes your relationship to them. It softens the edges of struggle and opens your heart to resilience. Imagine two people walking through the same forest. One focuses on the fallen branches, the uneven path, the insects that bite. The other notices the towering trees, the fresh air, the songs of birds. The forest hasn't changed, but their experience of it is vastly different. Gratitude is the lens that invites you to see the beauty in the everyday, even when life feels tough. This perspective nurtures contentment, a feeling often mistaken for complacency. Contentment is not settling for less. It is an acceptance of the present moment's gifts, paired with the wisdom to know that your worth is not defined by external circumstances. Moreover, gratitude opens the door to abundance. When you focus on what you have, you create a magnetic field that attracts more of it. The universe responds to appreciation by expanding the flow of blessings. This is not magic, but a natural law of awareness and energy. Every morning as you begin your day, the choice to practice gratitude can set the tone for everything that follows. It invites you to start not from lack but from plenty. It encourages a mindset that sees opportunity instead of limitation, hope instead of despair. Gratitude also deepens your connection with others. When you recognize and appreciate the kindness, love, and support around you, relationships flourish. You communicate from a place of abundance rather than neediness. Your interactions become richer, more meaningful. But gratitude is a practice, not a passive feeling. It requires intention, presence, and sometimes discipline. In moments of overwhelm, it may be difficult to see the silver lining. That's precisely when gratitude becomes most powerful, a quiet rebellion against negativity. Take a moment each morning to silently thank yourself for simply being here, for your breath, your body, your mind. Thank the small moments that often go unnoticed. This simple act rewires your brain, creating new neural pathways that support a grateful outlook. And as you cultivate this habit, you begin to notice a ripple effect. Your days become brighter, your worries less consuming, your resilience stronger. You start to embody a deep knowing that what you have right now, right here, is enough. As you rise tomorrow, carry this truth with you. Abundance is not about more possessions, achievements, or external validation. It is about recognizing the wealth already present within and around you. Gratitude is the key that unlocks this treasure. From this place of enoughness, life unfolds with greater ease, joy, and flow. The world feels less like a battle to win and more like a dance to be enjoyed. And in this dance you find not just happiness but peace. A peace rooted in the simple, profound act of being grateful. Remember, every moment offers a chance to turn what you have into enough. The door to abundance is always open. Will you choose to step through?
You see, each morning is a curious event, isn't it? We open our eyes not knowing whether we are waking from a dream into the world or from the world into a dream. And yet there it is, the sun pouring through the window, the breath in our lungs, the weight of another day arriving unannounced like a guest you didn't expect. But this guest this day holds infinite potential, if only you welcome it properly. The mind, you must understand, is not merely a mirror reflecting the world. It is a painter, a sculptor, a creator of realities. The thoughts you offer yourself at the break of dawn Do not simply describe your world, they create it. Speak fear and you build a prison. Speak truth, courage, gratitude, and presence, and you set the soul ablaze. So what if, instead of dragging yesterday's baggage into the sacred present, you whispered to yourself a new song each morning? A song not of fear, but of awakening. Not of chasing, but of remembering who you truly are. Before the world tells you what to fear or pursue, you must remind yourself of what is eternal. So let us begin there 12 powerful truths spoken not just to the mind but to the soul. I am alive, and that is enough. To simply be is the most extraordinary thing. Before the noise of ambition, before the ache of yesterday's regrets or the worry of tomorrow's unknowns, there is this singular fact: I am alive. This breath rising and falling is not a promise of perfection or success. It is a quiet miracle, happening over and over again without my asking. How peculiar, how wonderful, that we take this for granted, yet here I am awake, breathing, aware. You see, we have become terribly entangled in the idea that our worth is measured by our doing, our achievements, our productivity, our performance. We are always trying to become something, to arrive somewhere, to prove that we are worthy of love, of belonging, of existence. But what if none of that was necessary? What if your mere being, your simple presence in this world, was already a complete and perfect happening? The trees do not justify their existence. The stars do not ask for permission to shine. The rivers do not wonder if they are enough. They simply are, and in their being they express something profound, something whole. So why not you? Why not accept for just a moment that being alive, just as you are, is not a deficiency to be corrected, but a wonder to be revered? When you open your eyes in the morning, there is no need to begin by reminding yourself of the things undone, the failures of yesterday, the pressures that await. Start instead with presence, with the stillness of being, with this simple but astonishing truth: I am alive, and that is enough. It is not about ignoring your responsibilities or dismissing your dreams. It is about anchoring yourself in the most fundamental freedom, that you do not need to earn your right to exist. You already exist. The breath has been given, the heart continues to beat. Life moves through you, not because you forced it, but because you are part of this grand, mysterious unfolding of existence. Now consider this. What would happen if you carried that truth through your entire day? If you faced your challenges not from a place of lack, but from the grounded assurance that you are already whole? If you pursued your goals not to prove your value, but as a joyful expression of the life that already dwells within you? Most of our suffering comes not from what is, but from our resistance to what is. We think we must constantly become someone else, somewhere else, doing something more significant. And yet the stillness at the center of your being has never moved. It has always been enough. That stillness is not empty. It is full, full of silence, awareness, presence, and the quiet knowledge that you are not separate from the whole, but an essential expression of it. So many people rush through their mornings already burdened by expectations, already haunted by thoughts of inadequacy. But what if before anything else you looked in the mirror and simply said, I am alive, and that is enough? What if that became your anchor, your first truth, your silent vow to yourself each day? You are not a project. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are not behind in some cosmic race. You are the dance of atoms, the breath of the universe, the awareness that contemplates itself. You do not need to hustle to be worthy. You do not need to suffer to be loved. You do not need to achieve to matter. The sky does not apologize for its storms, and neither should you apologize for the full spectrum of your humanity. So wake slowly, breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart and feel the rhythm of life continuing, not because you demanded it, but because you are held by something far greater than you can name. Call it God, call it the Tao, call it the mystery, but know that it called you into being, and that is reason enough to begin the day with wonder. I am alive, and that is enough. Say it again and again, until it sinks beneath the mind and takes root in the soul. Let it be the first thing you remember before the world tells you to forget. Let it be your foundation before the winds of the day begin to blow. And when the doubts arise, as they surely will, return to it, not as an escape, but as a homecoming. Because in the quiet sanctuary of that truth, you will remember, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are not too late, you are here, you are now, you are alive, and that is enough. I am not my thought. I am the awareness behind them. This is one of the most liberating truths you can ever realize. Each morning, as thoughts begin to rise like mist off a morning lake, remember they are not you. They are clouds drifting through the vast sky of your consciousness. Some are dark and stormy, others light and passing, but none of them define you. You are not the storm. You are the sky. It is easy to believe that every thought you have must be true simply because you thought it. But think about this. You also dream while you sleep, and in those dreams anything can happen. You might fly or fall, or find yourself somewhere utterly unfamiliar. And yet when you wake you realize none of it was real. The mind is a dreamer, a storyteller, an artist of illusion. Its stories are often useful, sometimes beautiful, but also frequently deceptive. So why believe every anxious whisper, every self-judgment, every internal criticism as if it were a sacred law? You are not that passing stream of mental chatter. You are the space in which it occurs, the witness, the ever-present awareness quietly watching thoughts come and go without getting caught in their current. Most suffering, if you look closely, comes not from the circumstances of your life, but from your thoughts about those circumstances. The mind loves to analyze, compare, rehearse, and regret. It worries, plans, imagines, and doubts. This is its nature. It wants to protect you, to predict outcomes, to keep you safe. But when left unobserved, it can turn against you, becoming a harsh master instead of a helpful servant. This is why morning is such a crucial time. It's the beginning of the day's inner weather. If you wake up and immediately believe the mind's old stories, I'm not good enough, today will be hard, I'm already behind, then you begin to live as that story. But if you wake and remember, I am not my thoughts, I am the awareness watching them, you reclaim your power, you step into the observer's seat, you become free. This does not mean ignoring your thoughts. It means not becoming entangled in them. Watch them, and smile at them, question them, ask, is this true, is this useful, is this kind? And then choose whether to follow them or let them go, because you always have that choice. Imagine sitting beside a river, watching leaves float downstream. Your thoughts are those leaves passing, temporary, shaped by the winds of memory, fear, desire, but you are not the leaves, you are not even the river, you are the witness quietly present on the bank. The moment you stop trying to control the flow, the moment you stop identifying with each leaf, you find peace. This is not some distant mystical state reserved for monks or sages. It is available to you right now. Even as you read these words, you can notice the mind commenting, analyzing, reacting. Just notice that noticing, that simple, silent awareness, is who you are. The modern world teaches us to identify with labels, roles and mental patterns. I am anxious, I am a failure, I am not enough, but these are just thoughts, they are not reality, they are interpretations, and like all interpretations, they can be questioned, softened, replaced. So each morning, as thoughts begin to gather like birds on a wire, pause, observe, say to yourself, these thoughts are not me. They are passing clouds. I am the sky, and notice how much lighter you feel when you don't carry every cloud with you. This one shift changes everything. When you stop identifying with your thoughts, you stop being ruled by them, you respond instead of react, you create instead of conform, you live from a deeper place, a place of clarity, wisdom, and groundedness. And in that space you begin to see others differently too. You see that they too are caught in the currents of their minds, believing their own thoughts, suffering from their own stories. And just as you are learning to step back and breathe, so too can they. Compassion begins to rise not as an effort, but as a natural result of understanding. So remember this each day. Thoughts will come. Some will be helpful, some will not. You don't have to chase them, you don't have to fight them. You only need to remember who you are. You are not your fear, you are not your worry, you are not even your ambition. You are the presence behind it all, the one who sees, the one who knows, the one who is free. Say it softly and mean it fully. I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness behind them, and today I will live from that place. I am worthy of love. Exactly as I am, before the striving begins, before you rush to fix, improve, prove, or achieve. Pause, be still, let the morning meet you not as a checklist, but as a moment of truth, and in that stillness, remind yourself of this simple, radical truth. You are already worthy, not because of what you do, not because of what others think of you, but simply because you exist. You are worthy of love exactly as you are. It is one of the hardest things to accept, especially in a world that constantly whispers otherwise. From the moment we are born, we are told we must earn love, that it must be deserved, that it comes with conditions. Be good, be quiet, be beautiful, be successful, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be loved. So we learn to perform, to wear masks, to seek approval in every corner of life, never quite feeling we've done enough to receive what we're really longing for. To be loved simply for being. But true love, the kind that heals, the kind that frees, doesn't ask you to become someone else. It doesn't wait until you've crossed some imaginary finish line of perfection. It meets you right here, in your imperfection, in your vulnerability, in your realness. It says, you don't have to try so hard. You are enough. You are seen. You are loved. Most people don't believe this. Not really. They may nod along, they may say the words, but deep inside there's a voice that whispers, if they really knew me, they wouldn't love me. That voice is not the truth. It is an old echo, a wound speaking. And every morning you have a choice, to let that voice define you, or to speak a greater truth to yourself. You don't need to be flawless to be loved. You don't need to fix all your flaws before you deserve kindness. Look around. Do the trees ask to be more beautiful to be admired? Do the oceans ask to be calmer to be loved? Even the cracked stone has its place in the landscape. Why should you be any different? The love you crave is not something far away. It is not hidden in another person's gaze or buried in tomorrow's accomplishments. It is already within you, waiting to be accepted. But that requires a shift, not in who you are, but in how you see yourself. You are not unlovable because you feel sadness. You are not broken because you carry pain. These things do not make you less, they make you human, and humanity, in all its mess and glory, is entirely worthy of love. Imagine meeting yourself as you would a dear friend. Would you tell them they had to be perfect before you'd care for them? Would you withhold compassion until they got everything right? Of course not. You'd hold them, support them, remind them of their beauty even when they couldn't see it. So why not offer that same grace to yourself? Morning is the perfect time to practice this. The world has not yet demanded anything from you. Noise has not yet risen. So sit quietly with yourself, even for a moment, and say it. I am worthy of love exactly as I am. Let the words sink into your skin. Let them soften the hard places inside. Let them become a quiet rebellion against every false belief you've been taught. You don't need permission to love yourself. You don't need to wait until you're better. Self-love is not arrogance. It's not vanity. It's the foundation of all love. When you know your own worth, you stop grasping for validation. You stop begging for scraps. You begin to attract relationships, work, and experiences that resonate with your inner truth, not your insecurity. This doesn't mean you won't grow. It doesn't mean you stop trying to improve. But it means your growth is rooted in love, not shame. You're not trying to become someone else. You're uncovering the beauty that's already there. You are not a mistake. You are not too much or not enough. You are a living expression of life. Mystery worthy of tenderness, belonging, and joy. No accomplishment can add to your worth, and no failure can take it away. So as this day begins, carry that knowing like a flame in your chest. Let it guide you, let it protect you, let it remind you that no matter what happens, no matter what others say, no matter what your mind tries to convince you, you are worthy of love, exactly as you are. I let go of what I cannot control. There is a kind of quiet power in surrender, not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of wisdom. Each morning, when you wake and feel the pulse of the world pulling you in many directions, remember this: much of what disturbs you, much of what exhausts you, is not yours to carry. The world will continue spinning with or without your worry. People will make choices you cannot influence. The past will remain unchanged. The future will unfold as it must. And in this realization there is a deep, liberating truth. You do not need to control everything. The illusion of control is one of the mind's favorite games. It says, if I can just think about this enough, I'll be safe. If I can predict every outcome, I won't be hurt. If I can make everyone happy, I'll finally have peace. But peace does not come from control. It comes from release. You see, control is brittle. It breaks when life does not bend to your will, but letting go, that is, flexible, fluid. It bends with the flow of life and finds stillness even in chaos. Every day brings 1,000 variables beyond your grasp. The weather, the thoughts of others, the traffic, timing, the mood of the world. If you try to hold it all, you will feel small, tense, and helpless. But if you learn to loosen your grip, to trust the unfolding of things, you make space for a deeper kind of strength, the strength of presence, of equanimity, of freedom from the anxious need to dictate life. Letting go is not the same as giving up. It is not apathy or indifference. It is choosing to invest your energy where it actually matters within. You cannot control what people think of you, but you can choose how you respond. You cannot control every outcome, but you can align yourself with honesty, effort, and integrity. You cannot control what happens next, but you can be awake for it, fully present as it arises. The beauty of letting go is that it returns you to what's real. When you release the mental weight of trying to fix everything, you suddenly notice things you had forgotten. The warmth of your breath, the stillness of a morning, the quiet strength of your own heart beating without instruction. This is life right here. Not the imagined disasters or perfect plans, but this moment vivid and untouched by control. There is an ancient wisdom in trusting what you cannot see. It's not blind faith. It's a humble recognition that life is larger than your plans. Sometimes what looks like a setback is actually a redirection. Sometimes what you tried so hard to force was never meant to happen. And often the greatest peace is found not in pushing harder, but in stepping back, breathing, and allowing life to unfold. Think of a tree. It does not try to control the wind. It does not panic when the seasons change. It simply roots deeper, bends with the storm, and trusts in its nature to grow. This is what it means to let go, to root yourself in what is steady, your breath, your awareness, your values, and to release your grip on what is not yours to hold. Some mornings you may wake with fear sitting on your chest, whispering worries about things far outside your influence. On those days, return to this truth. Say it aloud if you must. I let go of what I cannot control. Repeat it until your shoulders soften, until your breath deepens, until your mind begins to quiet. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time act. You will have to do it again and again, every day, maybe every hour. But each time you do, you return to yourself. Each time you do, you remind the world and your own soul that your peace is not tied to external things. It is found in your ability to stay open, grounded, and willing to flow. This is the paradox of surrender. When you let go, you do not lose power. You reclaim it. You no longer waste energy on battles you cannot win. You stand firmly in the only place you ever truly had influence, this moment, this breath, this inner state of being. So as you rise into the day, remember there is no need to hold so tightly. You are not here to control the river. You are here to trust it. Let go and let life carry you where you're meant to go. I am grateful for this moment, exactly as it is. There is something profoundly transformative about beginning the day with gratitude, not the kind of forced, surface-level gratitude that we recite out of obligation, but a quiet, authentic thankfulness that bubbles up from the still center of our being. When you pause before the demands of the world rise up to meet you and truly take in this moment for what it is, something shifts inside. You are no longer chasing happiness. You are realizing it. Gratitude does not require everything to be perfect. It does not ask that pain disappear or that confusion be resolved. It simply invites you to notice what is already here, this breath, this light, this chance to begin again. Often we wait to feel grateful until something happens, until we succeed, until we heal, until life matches the picture in our mind. But what if gratitude isn't the reward for things going right, but the foundation upon which we meet life, whether it's smooth or stormy? You see, when you bring grateful attention to this moment, even with its messiness, even with its unknowns, you open the door to peace. Not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. You've moved out of resistance and into acceptance. And in that movement there is power. Consider this: you woke up, your heart continued beating while you slept. Your lungs filled with air, your body carried you into a new day. There is warmth somewhere nearby, light filtering through the sky, sounds that signal you are alive in a world that is constantly changing and rebirthing itself. This moment, even in its simplicity, is filled with countless miracles you did not have to earn, and that is worth noticing. Gratitude is not about ignoring difficulty. It is not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. It's about making space to hold both the beauty and the struggle, to say, yes, this is hard, and still I am grateful to be here. Gratitude makes room for life to be complex. It allows joy and sorrow to sit at the same table, without needing to resolve the tension between them. When you practice gratitude in the morning, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your state of being. You begin to see with clearer eyes. That sip of tea becomes sacred. The face of a loved one glows with quiet wonder. The simple act of stretching becomes a prayer. Gratitude does this. It doesn't fix life, it reveals it. Too often we live in a mindset of not enough. And not enough time, not enough money, not enough success, not enough self. This is the mind's default, to seek, to crave, to desire what is just out of reach. But gratitude interrupts that loop. It reminds us gently that we already have so much, that maybe in this very moment we already have what we need. And if you can remember this in the morning, if you can speak it softly to yourself, I am grateful for this moment exactly as it is, you lay a foundation of calm for the hours to come. You anchor yourself not in what's missing, but in what's here. You remind yourself that life is not a series of problems to be solved, but a mystery to be experienced. It doesn't have to be grand. Gratitude can be for the smallest things: the way the sheets feel against your skin, the coolness of the floor beneath your feet, the taste of water, the sound of birds outside your window, the breath that rises and falls over and over without your asking. This is not trivial. This is the texture of being alive. And yes, there will be days when gratitude feels far away, when the weight of worry or sorrow sits too heavily on your chest. On those days you don't have to pretend. You don't have to fake it. But if you can find even one small thing, a single beam of light, a quiet moment of peace, you have opened the door, and sometimes that's enough. So let this be your morning mantra: I am grateful for this moment exactly as it is, not because it's perfect, not because it's easy, but because it's real, and because I am here awake, alive, and aware enough to notice it. Gratitude is not a reaction. It is a way of seeing, a way of being, a way of choosing presence over absence, wonder over indifference. And when you choose it, moment by moment, your life begins to reflect the beauty you've been searching for all along.